Have you ever heard about cross-site request forgery, also known as CSRF? If not, you're in the right place. CSRF is a deceptive technique that manipulates a web application's trust in a user's browser. And it's a critical concern in the realm of web development. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding in plain sight, waiting to strike when least expected. Intrigued? Good, because understanding CSRF is the first step to preventing it. Stay tuned to understand the potential threat of CSRF attacks and how they can be prevented. A CSRF attack, in simple terms, is a type of malicious exploit of a website where unauthorized commands are transmitted from a user that the web application trusts. Now let's delve deeper to understand how these attacks unfold. Imagine a scenario where a user is logged into a social media site. In another tab, they innocently click on a link from an email, not knowing that it's a trap. This link triggers a CSRF attack, making the user unwittingly, like a random post, follow a stranger, or even worse, change their account password. All of this happens without the user's knowledge or explicit consent. In a more severe case, suppose the user is logged into their bank account. If a CSRF attack is successful, the attacker could potentially initiate a money transfer, all under the disguise of the user's trusted session. The devious nature of CSRF attacks lies in their ability to exploit the trust a site has in a user's browser. Attackers cleverly disguise malicious actions within normal browsing activities, making them hard to detect. The potential damages can range from minor annoyances like unwanted social media interactions, to significant issues like identity theft or financial loss. The impact of these attacks depends on the privileges the deceived user has. The higher the privileges, the more devastating the attack can be. So the stakes are high, especially for users with administrative rights. So you see, CSRF attacks can be quite harmful if not prevented properly. Now that you understand what CSRF attacks are, it's time to introduce CSRF tokens and their role. Cross-site request forgery or CSRF tokens are a security measure, a secret, unique value associated with each user's session. They are a vital shield in the face of CSRF attacks. Let's delve a little deeper. Imagine CSRF tokens as a secret handshake between you and your application. You both know it, and it's unique to your interaction. When you send a request, the server expects this secret handshake or CSRF token to accompany it. If it doesn't match or is missing altogether, the server knows something is amiss and rejects the request, thwarting potential CSRF attacks. Now you may ask, why are these CSRF tokens so important? Well, their role is essential in maintaining the trust between a client and a server. They ensure that every action performed on a web application is done by a verified and authenticated user, not a malicious attacker. Proper implementation of CSRF tokens is a must. If not correctly set up, they're as good as non-existent. They should be unpredictable and securely generated. Also, they must be tied to the user's session and refreshed with each session. Remember, CSRF tokens are not a silver bullet for all security issues, but they certainly are a critical part of a robust defense strategy. So, CSRF tokens serve as a critical line of defense against CSRF attacks. Now that you are familiar with CSRF tokens, let's delve into how to prevent CSRF attacks. The first line of defense against CSRF attacks is the proper use of CSRF tokens. These tokens are embedded within your web application's forms and serve as a secret, unique value that's tied to the user's session. When a form is submitted, the server checks the submitted token against the one stored in the user's session. If they match, the request is legitimate. If not, it's likely a CSRF attack. But CSRF tokens aren't the only tool you have at your disposal. Another highly effective method is the use of same-site cookies. By setting the same-site attribute on your cookies, you can instruct the browser to only send the cookie with requests originating from the same domain as the target site. This greatly reduces the chances of a CSRF attack being successful. Furthermore, employing good security practices like validating the HTTP request methods can also aid in CSRF prevention. By ensuring that state-changing operations are only performed via POST requests, you can prevent CSRF attacks that rely on GET requests. Finally, don't overlook the importance of educating your users about phishing attacks, which are often used to carry out CSRF attacks. Encourage them to keep their browsers up to date and to avoid clicking on suspicious links. Remember, prevention is always better than cure, especially when it comes to CSRF attacks.